This looks like an inconspicuous door in a fairly inconspicuous fence. But behind here is a wonderful hidden garden. In fact, it's one of the best in Australia. Come and have a look. Out of sight from passers-by, it's an extraordinary world of colour and fragrance and sheer beauty. This is the gap between the house and the fence, with a lovely stone path wandering through. Very little light gets here, and it's like wandering through a most marvellous green and scented tunnel. The people who live here, well, they cherish their privacy, and that's why they're going to remain anonymous. But they've been working on this hidden garden since 1948, and it's been improving ever since. And to me, it looks enormous. And yet, believe it or not, it's not much bigger than a typical house block. It looks huge, doesn't it? It seems to go just about anywhere. And the reason why it's so successful is because of the clever landscaping. You see, all the fences have been very carefully concealed by trees and shrubs and other plants. And look at the way it's been designed too, to make it look big. And right next door is one of Tasmania's busiest highways. And yet few of the tens of thousands of motorists who drive past would have any conception of what it's like in here. It's a totally different world. But you know what I like? I like this lovely fringe of black stem bamboo that runs right the way along the front of the veranda. And through that you can see the whole garden, including this great peninsula that juts out into the lawn, and this has everything. The rock garden is crammed with alpines, including mossy saxifrage, thrift, tiny sun roses and alpine phlox, and a host of dwarf conifers. The water garden, including some glorious Japanese water iris, merges into a bog garden with candelabra primulas and masses of Siberian irises. Yet the most astonishing thing about this garden is the soil. It's heavy, solid clay, and yet in spite of this, the garden has succeeded everywhere. But this garden is also for children. It's like the most wonderful adventure playground. Everywhere are these mysterious little paths going behind the shrubs. They induce the children to go along, and always at the end, a lovely surprise. It could be a beautifully blended group of plants like these. But here, deep among the shrubs, there's a lovely feeling of shade, security and excitement. And there's no greater joy for anyone than to look out through the flowering plants at the sunlit garden beyond. This yellow Banksian rose has been allowed to completely take over an old crabapple tree, and it's in an island bed crammed with blue flowering plants. And blue is a dominant colour around here. Here's Acosta's blue spruce, 15 metres tall, with its branches sweeping right the way down to the ground and spreading over the lawn, and that's outstanding landscaping. But then the great characteristic of this garden are the vistas. This is the secret of great landscaping. These long, curving borders, always something to entice you into new areas, and always a new delight waiting to be discovered. The beauty of this garden seems to go on forever. What do you think of the old greenhouse? Slowly but surely it's collapsing into the garden. In fact, it's become part of the garden. Now here's a fantastic touch. Every part of this garden's used for growing something, even the walls of the house. Here's a climbing hydrangea. Then there's clematis too. And a wonderful mixture of clematis and climbing rose. What a magnificent rose this is. It's called Titian. Now, tell me, what do you think of the vegetable garden? That's right, I said the vegetable garden. You see, they couldn't resist planting lots of flowering plants, so they've got vegetables all the year round, and lots of flowers for cutting for the house as well. It's hard to believe, isn't it, that this, one of Australia's greatest suburban gardens, and it is, was created on the most difficult of all soils, heavy clay. In every direction there is beauty. It's what I call a real garden.